lack of substantial progress in the state's development over the last 10 months. Now, the APC chairman particularly criticized what he deemed excessive spending on Thanksgiving ceremonies across the local government areas of the state. Expressing deep concern over what he perceived as lack of continuity in governance, Okocha highlighted deviation from previous road development. Let's take note of what he said was or is the lack of development. Deviation from previous road development plans initiated by former governors. He emphasized that apart from the Ring Road project initiated by ex-Governor Nyesom Wike, Fubara's administration has failed to launch any significant road projects. Now, Okocha further questioned the governor's priorities, citing investments in projects like the transformation of Songhai Farm and the rehabilitation of a cassava plant as inadequate measures for good governance. By the way, while I was in the studio, I was watching a national TV, and I saw a clip from the South where the governor was doing a tour around Songhai Farm, so and the cassava plant as well. Now, he insinuated that such endeavors were orchestrated primarily to garner support for the governor. He said, addressing the broader economic challenges facing the nation, Okocha defended President Bola Tinubu's decision to remove fuel subsidies, asserting that it was a necessary step to alleviate the country's financial strain. He commended the federal government for reallocating subsidy savings to states, including rivers, to mitigate the impact of the policy change. However, Okocha criticized the Fubara administration for its alleged mismanagement of federal allocations, questioning the utilization of the substantial funds received in the state. He called on the governor to prioritize transparency and accountability in financial matters. Then he talked about the local government, and then he talked about not working with the House of Assembly, not having a good relationship, and talked about Thanksgiving. So let's take a pause there and welcome Marcus once again. Marcus, welcome.
Thank you very much, Kalada.
So you've heard the gist. Let's start with your take on Tony Okocha's presser yesterday.
Well, Chief Tony Okocha is not new to controversy, but the challenge I have with many Nigerian politicians, including the ones from Rivers State, is that they are very good at maintaining table manners.
Oh, what do you mean?
When you are eating, you don't talk.
Okay.
When you are no longer eating, you start talking.
Oh, okay.
When you talk when you are eating, you can get choked. Something might just get wrong,
So, like we saw in the Senate.
Yes.
Okay.
So, Mr. Tony Okocha has good table manners because he's been around for as long as I know. I remember him very well as Chief of Staff to then Governor Rotimi Amici. I don't know if Amici was a visionary leader to him at the time. And then when they eventually fell out, when they were both in opposition, opposing the former Governor Nyesom Wike-led PDP government, if at what point did Wike lose the New Rivers vision? And then, so he's just doing his job as an opposition chairman. As a matter of fact, the incident or the press conference, if I was a news editor, he won't make headline because he's doing his job as an opposition, which is to find fault in whatever the government does. So you see that in one breath, he's criticizing Governor Siminalayi Fubara. On the other breath, he's commending the person that is now serving the food currently on his table. So that's what I mean by table manners. So he's on the board of NDDC. He's APC chairman, caretaker chairman of APC. So he has everything going on for him as far as the APC-led federal government. He's done a good job for them when he backed out from the Amechi camp of the APC, and he was duly rewarded. So now you see that when the food is set on one table, you don't talk there, and then when it's not set on the other table, you talk there. So he has done a good job as an opposition person. However, talking about the vision, we asked the same question when Sim was contesting for governor.
Okay.
I know there were several forums for him to come and explain to Rivers people what his plans were. At a point, we felt like probably he doesn't talk or something. And they said, no, what he wants to do is in his mind. We had the likes of Dumolulu Briggs using every avenue to express their plans. The Labour Party chair, the governorship aspirant, Beatrice Itubo. We had Tony Okocha, all publishing manifestos and reading them out and telling us.
But Sim Fubara also published manifestos.
Yes, what I'm saying is that telling me that he doesn't have a vision is not correct. There was a new Rivers vision continuity.
Okay, I get you now.
You understand? So we had a new Rivers vision, which he now, which is what Sim is continuing. So if Tony Okocha wants to see the vision that he's not currently seeing, is to go back and look at the new Rivers vision, because this is new Rivers Vision Pro Max.
Okay, new Rivers Vision Pro Max. All right. So you're saying there is a vision?
Yes, of course.
Okay.
Whether the vision is clear or not, it's not that is another matter for another day. There is a vision. Saying that there is no vision, he was the one who even acknowledged the ring road. He was in the vision. Okay.
So now let's look at it this way. Last week we saw a report where it said that 24 states cannot, pay salaries of workers if they don't get allocation from the federal government. Do you think the state governors generally have operated below standards?
Yes.
Tell me why you feel so.
It's terrible. You see, I traveled to Warri over the weekend. Every time I travel on that stretch of East-West Road, from Uniport all the way to Efuro in Warri, down to Benin, if you like, extend it to Ondo.
You drove?
Yeah, by road.
Okay.
It wasn't by air, by
okay.
road.
Yeah.
When I see those creeks, we have no business importing fish in Nigeria. When I see those creeks, I imagine movie locations and locations for tourism. If you drive towards across Mbiama Bridge and then you drive through Patani
Bridge,
the view is amazing. I imagine a 5-star hotel just facing that waterfront, if only the militants and security was taken care of. That you and I can take a holiday, spend a weekend in Patani, just eating seafood, facing the creeks and enjoying the natural breath that comes from there. And a state like Bayelsa will be demanding or depending on allocation. If you go to Taraba, again I'll make reference to the Mambila Plateau. There is nowhere as beautiful as that location in Nigeria. I'm not joking with you. The weather is cold 24 hours. You don't need air condition there. You are even closer to God in case you want to do retreats. It's high up the mountains, so God will answer your prayer faster if you pray from those mountains. But you see a state like Taraba, instead of exploring tourism and agriculture, are also waiting for allocation. There is no state in Nigeria that is not sustainable without allocation.
Let me quote you now. There is no state
in Nigeria that is not sustainable, cannot survive without allocation. Let me rephrase.
Okay.
Every state in Nigeria can survive without allocation. And if we take them state by state, I can tell you what their potentials are and what they can do to generate internally.
I'm happy you said that. So let's come back to Rivers State.
Yes.
Looking at Rivers State, have we traveled the right path of development? You said we can, do, beyond what we get from the allocation from the federal government. Actually, Rivers State is somewhat sustainable. It can sustain itself when we look at IGRO, which is mostly from taxation. But have we been creative enough when it comes to development? And
Rivers have not gotten it right over the years. I must give credit to former Governor Rotimi Amici. He did a lot in opening up the state in terms of
Greater Port
Harcourt, road infrastructure. You talk about education, a lot of investment in education and tourism. I was very active in the Canny Reef project.
Okay.
And I can tell you what Canny Reef does to the development of Rivers State in just that 1 week that it takes place.
Okay.
Personally, I hire close to 10 extra hand when I'm engaged in the Canny Reef project.
So more employment.
More employment, even if it was just for that 1 week. I have pictures that I can share with you personally later. If you look at what Agri Road is turned to on the one night of Canny Reef concert on that road and the revenue that is generated, that monies that are exchanging hands on that street in just one night from people, from food vendors alone.
So there is the economic value from tourism.
Yes. And as Canny Reef was sustained for about 3-4 years, people started planning Canny Reef into their Christmas calendar. People who naturally travel to their villages to start spending their money in their villages would rather remain in Port Harcourt and expand that for 1 week before leaving. So that money remains in Rivers State. One thing that any state, especially Rivers, can do, Tony Okocha has talked about nothing happening in Rivers State. I must commend the governor. I don't know what he's doing. He's not talking. That is his personal disposition. But the truth of the matter is that, believe me, Kala, I think we have an improved security.
Yeah, I feel.
I'm not joking with you. Before now, you will know somebody that knows somebody that was kidnapped. That has greatly reduced. Taking out the head of the cult group in Ahoda alone has given us peace on that route.
But is that the work of the governor, the police?
The governor is the chief security officer.
Okay.
If there was insecurity, we will still hold him responsible. So when there's an achievement in security, if probably he wasn't putting the commissioner under pressure, that problem would not have been solved. If he didn't give the police the necessary logistics, the police is never having anything. They don't have everything complete. So if the governor doesn't give them 1 or 2 naira, apart from what they get from the force headquarters, it might be difficult for them to function. So give the governor the credit. Some things have been done. All of the court clashes we were hearing leading up to his inauguration, especially in the Diobu Oasis of Port Harcourt, I can't remember when last we heard of people's head being cut off on the streets of Diobu.
So there is relative peace.
Relative peace. You understand? What I believe that Rivers State needs to do going forward is to reduce, improve more on the security part, and then make land acquisition easier for investors and make it more accessible to people. Of course, the real estate is picking up in Rivers State. There are more and more real estate companies coming up in Rivers, which is a testimony to the fact that people want to live in Rivers State. But if I live in Rivers State, what business am I going to be doing? So these are the things that the governor needs to start looking at. He needs to start looking at improved road network. Well, you can give that to Governor Nyesom Wike, the former governor of Rivers State. The 11 flyovers, as expensive as they came to the people of Rivers State, have reduced travel
11
times.
11 or 12?
12.
Don't reduce BK's flyovers.
Oh my God.
12.
Okay, there are 12 new vision flyovers.
Okay.
Those flyovers, whether we agree or not, even though I still maintain that they were very expensive, they came too expensive, they have reduced travel times. Before now, in the last 4 years, you couldn't get from point A to point B without experiencing traffic gridlock at some point. Today, it's almost impossible for you to stay in a standstill traffic in Port Harcourt for 15-20 minutes. So every governor has done something. What I will expect Governor Sim to do, Lagos just launched the red line after the blue line. What Tony Okocha was part of the administration that had the vision to go and build monorail facing where there is no need for monorail. He was chief of staff. So now that Governor Wike, former Governor Wike, left that for 8 years, that track is rusting away. If former Governor Amechi has made the mistake of citing it in the wrong location, we agree. I am not a town planner, but from where I sit, you can easily just drop that rail line on Ikwere Road. You don't need bridges anymore. Just drop that track right in the middle of Ikwere Road.
So instead of building a ring road, we could have done a monorail.
Yes, finish the monorail. Drop the track in the middle of Ikwere Road. You take it high from Azikiwe where it's standing, over the Maiwan flyover, drop it in the middle of Ikwere, on the ground. Extend Ikwere Road 1 meter here, 1 meter to that side.
Dualization.
Where the street light is in the middle.
No, you dualize the road so that you can have the median.
Yes, you use the median now. You only take maybe about 3 meters.
Okay, that's like another lane.
Yes, 3 meters to the left to accommodate what the train is going to take from the middle. And the track remains on the ground all the way to the airport. That's where, Kala, if I need to travel to anywhere in the world and I need to use Port Harcourt International, I just need to find where the next stop of the train is on Ikwere Road and board. By now, we would have been talking of phase 2, maybe from Onne to Eleme Junction, or from Onne to the airport as well. Because on the airport axis, you have the airport, you have the stadium. Why is Super Eagles no longer hosting any match in Port Harcourt?
Something about the stadium.
Good. What have we done about it? What have we done about Elekaya? The last time Elekaya was used for any major tournament was 1999, Nigeria 99. Why have we not covered it up till now?
Well, we've played friendly matches there.
Well, I said major.
Okay.
The one that will attract foreign direct investment, the one that will bring in the dollars and bring in foreigners who will come and eat bole across the road on the stadium axis. Port Harcourt bole is now an export. Thank God for what some people are doing with the festival and all of that. But the truth of the matter is that we need more of that. We need more aquatic festivals. We need, when are we going to watch the beautiful boat regatta? All of these things, these are tourism potential. I've said so many things in one breath, but the truth is that we need to invest in tourism and security, and then transportation, and then we are fine. We're good to go.
So if we invest in these things and these areas, we can now generate enough money, maybe just like Lagos, to build red or build any
color
any
of
other
line. Yes.
any
Whether
other
red,
thing,
blue, or white.
any other thing we want to build.
Yes.
Okay. I wonder if I do have a commercial now. I'm wondering what's wrong with my system. But I've got more questions for you, and this time do you think the political polarization in River State, PDP versus PDP, APC versus PDP, APC and PDP, I mean, we have so many ways to look at it. Do you think that has also slowed this development? Because you just talked about the days of one administration when there were tourism, transportation being built, agriculture being focused on. Then there is another one who abandoned all of that and then started his own. And now it's looking like there is no Tony Okocha says there is no continuity. So what could be the problem?
You have hit the nail on the head, which is the political infighting, crisis within PDP and all of those things. Whether we like it or not, political leaders have a big role to play in the development of any place. What we ordinarily are used to is ruling party opposition. That's not what we have in River. We have a new political ideology in River State, where you now have implosion.
You know what, just all that thought. We'll go for a quick commercial break. When we do come back, I'll talk some more River State, governance in River State, and our focus is on development. Action 92.3 Nigerian Info. We have 27 minutes to the top of the hour. I still have Marcus Ijioma in the studio. He's a social political commentator, a media consultant, and he's in the studio and we talking. I know on Facebook what you see is APC accuses Governor Fubara of financial frivolity, but what we are focusing on basically is, we're trying to get some of the substance from what was said in that presser, and we're talking about it, which basically is about development in River State. And before we went for the commercial break, Marcus was telling us about how River State could have developed if we had focused on economic vitality and sustenance, because we would have generated a lot of funds and would have been able to build anything. And he mentioned 3 areas we could have focused on in the past 16 years or even more. The monorail, which is transportation, a rail system,
and tourism.
Tourism and security. He mentioned. But welcome back, Marcus.
Thank you very much, Carl.
All right, thank you very much for also showing and giving us your thoughts on the show. But my next question then is, yes, we want to talk about all the things that we could have done at the state level, but we also have the local government levels and the roles that they can play. And right now there is this so loud a talk. I don't know if that language is correct, but permit me. The talk is so loud that people are all talking about local government elections. But have we had local government administrators who have been developmentally driven in the sense? Because you can say all you can say about the governor or the governments we've had at the state level, but what about the local governments? Now we're saying let there be election. Are we going to have elections that will bring in people with development in mind, that are developmentally driven once again? So what is your thought on that one?
I must be sincere with you. Since 1999, the local government has been nosediving across the country.
Okay.
And it's largely due to Jack.
The joint allocation. Yeah.
Yes. And what the governors, I'll share an experience with you that I experienced in a particular state.
Okay.
Now former governor. He will write at the back of his complimentary card for instance,
okay, I think you told me this story before.
Yes, if Kala has his grandmother's burial coming up, and you are able to get to the governor to say, Your Excellency, I'm burying my mother. So, when is that burial again? It's April 17th. Okay, I'll see what I can do. Say, okay, Your Excellency. Your Excellency takes his complimentary card and writes the amounts your local government chairman should give you to support the burial. Was that captured in the budget?
I don't think so.
The 200,000, as at the time it was 200,000, 150. This was about 10 years ago. So I can imagine now it should be around 1 million, 2 million if the person was still governor. Or what if that's the governor that we know? Most governors will send girlfriends to local government chairmen to fund. So that's what they have been doing with local government funds. You talk about the councillors. Let's start with the councillors. Whether supervisory or elected. Back in the day, councillors were able to construct culverts on streets, trunk C roads, and we could ask a councillor, do you know the name of the councillor that represents you in your ward, Kalada? You probably don't know.
I think I know, but I've forgotten.
He doesn't even need to be in the local government.
Okay.
When last did the local government legislators, when last did they sit to discuss local government bylaws? I'm talking councillors now. But these guys are earning over 800,000 per month. Basic. It's about 300,000.
Interesting.
By the time you total all the allowances, over 1 million. Some of them are school dropout, hoodlums. Some of them, very few of them are educationally sound. I don't blame them because the constitution says school starts or its equivalent. So anybody can be councillor. And then you move to the chairman, who don't even stay in the local government headquarters. How can you be a chairman and your residence is not in the local government headquarters where you are the chairman? You are a chairman of Kukutoru, you are living in Port Harcourt, Jerry. You are the chairman of Ahoda, you are staying in Odili Road. What kind of chairman are you? Why can't the chairman of Ikwere local government stay in Isiokpo or Elele? Why? What business does he have in Port Harcourt? But they are always in Port Harcourt. And the governors are doing the same with Abuja. And to make matters worse, they are doing to Abuja now on private jets. You just use your internet and check how much is a private jet to Abuja.
Now, I want to ask this question because you know what we're talking about, if River State, or how can River State develop. You mentioned transportation, you mentioned security and tourism. Then you mentioned tourism.
Yes.
The local government chairman, in an ideal situation, do they have a role to play in all of this?
Yes, they do.
In an ideal, I'm looking at the Nigerian structure now.
Yes, the first role that the local government chairman has to play is that he or she must play the role of the chief security officer of that local government. You must. There's no local government in Nigeria that doesn't have one small cultural festival. There's none. Absolutely not. We are very cultural people, very religious people. And so, if you package that your small festival very well
and generate funds,
you will generate funds. You will get visitors. If you have hotels in your vicinity, I went for a burial in this place after Kana.
Is it before Zigo Kana?
No. The riverine community, Opobo.
Oh, okay.
Oh my God! You need to see the beauty of that place. Climbing one bridge, descending, passing through one creek, and all of that. Just looking at the view of the creeks, open waters. I still have pictures of that. And each time I get to those places, I imagine that I probably need a break out of Port Harcourt. Can I come and sit here and just be fishing, even if I'm fishing for fun? Just throw one hook in the water, just speak. And the moment I'm staying in Opobo, the guy who is ferrying me on the boat ride, there are many people in Port Harcourt whose only boat ride is the one they are doing in the heart of town, somewhere around Air Force. But how many of us would have gladly gone to Bonny to go and see the beautiful monkeys there? I have seen them. The monkey park in Bonny.
Okay.
But would I want to go there when I hear that engine boats are being seized, their engines are being seized on Atlantic Ocean? Just imagine being on a boat to Bonny and your engine boats, the engine was seized by another militant, and then your boat is left to just be floating, and then you hear a blare from a big vessel heading towards your direction with heavy wave. But imagine if River State government or Bonny local government, what does it take Bonny local government to have a boat as equipped as that of NLNG? Why must I go and register with NLNG, lobby somebody in NLNG to get a free ride to Bonny? What stops Bonny local government? Tell NLNG to get us the same kind of boat they are using, so that more Nigerians who want to visit Bonny Island
can
see
visit.
The beauty. The first time I saw a platform was on the cover of my physics textbook, the oil rig platform. I saw it for the first time in real life when I was going to Bonny. Imagine what that does for me. And you can't take pictures from the NLNG boat, but if you were using or a private boat, you can then take your pictures and have a free fall. You see whale and dolphins jumping on what we only see.
Whales?
Yeah, sorry, dolphins.
I've been to Bonny. I didn't see the dolphins.
That the day you went, probably they were not out there. They travel a lot across the world. So if you are lucky to see them when they are traveling in their numbers, you will get to see them. But all of these sites are something that Bonny local government chairman, how much is building a boat? If he wants to build a boat, I know people that can build boat for him. Cover
the houseboat type.
Yes, and we will all be traveling to Bonny, even if the speed is 10 kilometers per hour. We will prefer it.
We'll get there.
We'll get there in less than 3 hours or so. We'll have the view. We can even sail, just like they do in Lagos now. I can take a houseboat into the waters and have my party there. But can you, if I tell you now that we're having party on Bonny water, will you follow me? Because you are not sure whether militants will come and meet us there. And the militants are their boys. They are their boys. Right. So tell their boys, like if the local government chairman tell their boys to stand down, tourism will boost in their various local government. If Eche can feed the whole of River State with Gary, why can't we go to Eche? When in Eche, if you decide to travel from Igrita to Eche now, before now when the Aba road was not good, I am not exaggerating. I make that trip almost twice every month. That's the least.
I know. I would always call you and you're not available.
Good. I make that trip at least twice a month, some weeks every week at least once. At a point early this year, before the Aba road was upgraded or graded, rehabilitated, there were over 50 checkpoints between Eche and Ngopala, mounted by community boys, collecting revenue, illegal revenue from farmers, traders who went to bush market. Why will our Gary not be expensive? Why will Loi not be 200 naira in Port Harcourt? Meanwhile, these things are wasting away in daily market. Somebody told me that when you want to buy cheap things in bush market, you should go around 5 or 4 p.m. Why? Because the villagers will be tired of selling. Nobody came. So at that point, they crashed their price. How will such a person be encouraged to farm another cassava? And we're all here shouting, one paint rubber or gari is now 2.5. As if we don't know what is going on. What does it take the Che local government chairman to stop those boys from collecting illegal fuel from back women from bush markets?
So Marcus, if I understand you very well, government over the years have focused on the wrong things.
It's amazing how they have done that.
Because we've spent monies on some of these constructions and we've called them developments. But listening to you, if they had focused on, like you said now, the HA local government chairman focuses on Gary production or what did you call it again? What did you call it?
Remove every illegal checkpoint in HA. To that, I fear. I was out of the state yesterday. I fear traveling to HA now because the road is lonely. Most of the vehicles have moved back to the Aba Port Harcourt Express. So I in my mind, I'm thinking, if these guys don't have who to tax now, could they change their mind into kidnapping? Because when you now have to wait for 2-3 minutes before you see the next vehicle, when the road is lonely in Nigeria, it's a sign of something.
All right. Now, I asked that question because I want to know, how can we then focus on the right things? Because I've listened to you, and I've always known the local government chairman have roles to play. The state governor has roles to play. But listening to you, there's a different picture I now have. Yes, we can build infrastructures, but we should focus more on human capital development.
Yes.
And I'm thinking, how then do we do that?
First things first, we need to launch every local government. I've said it in this studio before. Every local government, if you can't afford to set up your own radio station that will broadcast in your native languages, because the next thing now you'll say, oh, people don't understand English. Oh, Nigerian Info is speaking plenty grammar. But you can sponsor a program on Nigerian Info targeted at your people for mass reorientation. There's virtually no local government that is not covered by Nigerian Info in Rivers State. So how can you take 30 minutes of a Che developmental stripe where you are dealing with issues concerning a Che people? Because when any day anything comes about a Che, we are just using a Che as an example now. People call in to either for or against. Every time I listen to Nigerian Info, a Che is a very hot local government. So is LMA. So can you develop a program on Nigerian Info or Wazobia or somewhere on one of the airwaves targeted at your people, mass reorientation, since you can't afford to set up your own station yet? But I know that NBC has licenses for smaller radio stations, community radio, that's what they call them. Start with orientation. Start changing the way your people think. Our people in Rivers State have so much entitlement mentality. They think that because you are traveling to their village, you owe them something. They think because you are living in their community, you owe them something. They think because you set up a business, you must employ them whether they are qualified or not. I tell young people, especially those I meet every time, I say the basic qualification you can have is not even school cert. If you are 18 and above, you should at least have a driver's license. So you buy cars for people and you call it empowerment, and they sell it off the next minute. They don't want to do transport because they don't even want to go to mechanic. They don't want to think how much is fuel sold. They would rather look for another driver who probably is not an indigent, who has sought opportunity in Rivers State. Do you know how many people have come in from other parts of this country taking over the transport sector in Rivers State? Just do a simple vox pop. Go to the photo parks and ask the drivers. If you see 10, I am almost certain more than half are not from Rivers State.
So now, if you are asking the politicians to reorient their followers, they need the followers to play politics.
They need the ignorance, you mean? They need them to continue to be ignorant. I'm just telling you, once you change orientation, that's the first level.
All right.
The second level is for them to start making sure that the right people are in the right places, not job for the boys like we currently do, political patronage of leaders, elected leaders. Let's
open the phone lines now. Let's get your thoughts. We started by looking at what Tony Okocha said, and then we moved that conversation into developmental conversations. But what are your thoughts? What do you think about all of these? Some valid points have been made by our guests on the show today, Marcus Ijioma. What's your take? I like to hear. 0817-923-0002, 0817-923-0002, and 0817-923-0007. There's WhatsApp number 0809 0306416. All right, let's get your thoughts. But first, I'll look at what is on WhatsApp. Emifiaga says, I appreciate your guest for admitting the invisible or seeable vision of the governor Sim Fubara administration in Rivers State. However, democratic societies are not governed by unseen visions because man lives in the physical realm. So development policies and performance of government should be visible. Unfortunately, despite the huge funds Governor Sim Fubara has received from FAC and the IGRO, Rivers people can barely point to a development path of the incumbent administration. For instance, vision is not attained at the level of vision. Vision is broken into goals and objectives. Since your guest is conversant with the unseeable vision of this government, my question therefore is that what exactly is the agricultural policy and the electricity policy of the Simfoba administration that culminates to a workable vision for Rivers State? Emifiaga. I can answer that question myself. I remember interviewing the Commissioner for Information, and he did say that the government is working on some electrification policy where it will, create electricity in various states and power businesses and all of that. And there's also the talk of the Songhai farm, rehabilitating the Songhai farm. So I wonder if those are visions and goals enough. I don't know if my guest wants to say something.
Rehabilitating the Songhai farm is a good way to go. I can imagine if Governor Wike had sustained that. Have you visited that place before?
No,
you see,
I've seen pictures.
Yes, Songhai is a combination of agriculture and tourism.
Are you serious?
Yes, there were chalets there where you could lodge. People started booking there for retreats. Imagine having a retreat with plantains surrounding you, with those kind of, you have a feel of village, a feel of township, everything mixed together. And then it was abandoned for 8 years. Who does that?
Kalada, please always invite Mr. Marcus. He's a philosopher I'm learning greatly right now from Woji. All right. This one says, I doff my hat for your guest. Is so full of visions. May God help him. I help him too. Clinton is calling from Bori. Clinton, welcome. What is on your mind?
Thank you very much. I want to greet your guest respectfully. The man have spoken extensively about River State and what River State should be doing to develop. Okay. Now, talking about Tony Okocha is an opposition leader, which we also know is doing his job. Opposition becomes healthy when it's issue based. Tony Okocha should also know that he was part of our military government. Our military government was adjudged as one of the best of them because this administration created employment for Rivers people. It created opportunity for Rivers people. Then the wicked government that is not praising now, what they can do to create employment for Rivers people? Nothing.
All right. Thank you very much, Clinton. I've got to move on now. I've got Obed from GRA. Obed, welcome.
Hello.
Yeah, quickly, please.
Hello, good evening.
Yeah, greetings to you.
Let me greet your guest. I think he has been able to go deep, especially as it has to do with development of River State. But let me react particularly to Tony Okocha. I think he doesn't have the moral standing to speak. Another word is praising the federal government that have brought untold hardship to Nigeria. Then at the same time, you're blaming the governor. Epoli said the governor, one of the things that makes me actually have a penchant for him is the result of when I saw him make that move to try to resuscitate Songhai farm, of course. And under especially the housing project, which we've never seen before. So if Tony Okocha actually is saying that the governor has deviated from the the consolidation agenda and all that, I don't think it's very correct. Because consolidation does not necessarily mean that you will continue to build house just like the former governor. I mean, you're putting wealth in the hands of those that already have made. You understand? But this current governor has come with the step he has taken so far. I think it's the right step in the right direction.
Obed, I've got to go.
Tony Okocha, please, let's tell us what the federal government is going, what it's going to do to be able to get Nigeria out of this disaster.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Victor from Rumukrusi, welcome.
Okay, Carlos, good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon to you.
The last time I checked, Tony Okocha, his critics is not constructive.
but I mean, it's about development of River State. So, are we sure?
Yes. Every time Tony Okocha come out to criticize, the critics is not constructive. No, because now, Tony Okocha is criticizing. If he has anything to do with the present governor now, he will say, "Oh, we have the best governor in the world." So the critics is not constructive. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. We do have a commercial. One will come up, but there's this message that I've seen. I don't know if I can read it quickly. It says, your guest doesn't seem to appreciate the tenets of democracy and is rather tilting towards autocracy by despising the existence of opposition, which is the future of democracy. For democracy to thrive, a formidable opposition is needed to put the government on its toes. All these praise singers should get a job. He couldn't counter all that Tony Okocha raised and was instead throwing personal attacks. The truth remains that the governor is here to hit the ground running. No amount of propaganda will hide that. There is no vision.
No, I started by opening the saying that Tony Okocha is doing his job.
We'll get a response. We'll get the response after the commercial break. Just stay tuned.
Honorable Tony Okocha was doing a good job as an opposition leader.
Yeah, you did mention.
By casting that aspiration on the governor. That's his job. So I was saying that he shouldn't have been taken seriously. He's only doing his job. Nobody said the opposition is not good. Unfortunately, we didn't have the time to talk about the new political ideology in Rivers State, where you are now having inside opposition with side party. You know, you have people who are in PDP but they are serving in APC government. You have people who are in PDP but they are in APC. There are APC people who are serving in PDP government and all kinds of things. But another day, another time. I'm just hoping that. But Rivers State has a lot to do. First things first, if the current governor can improve on security and focus on tourism, I'm sure Rivers will be a great place to be.
All right. Thank you very much, Marcus Ijioma. Thank you for your time, and it's good to have you.
Thank you very much, Carla.
Always a pleasure. Yeah.
Thank you very
Okay. Stay tuned. The news update next, and after that, you and I will talk about the Senate. House of corruption. That's the question I'm asking. Just stay tuned.